Hello, everyone. My name is Paul. Welcome back to A Common Touch of Fantasy. And this is my reflections on my winter reading video. I made this video once. It ended up being 18 minutes. Hopefully, I can do this in under 10. So, let's get right to it and talk about my reading winter. Let's go to the counter. 32 books total, which is pretty good for me. It's better than last year. But the thing of it is that I'm reading shorter books as well. So I'm averaging about 2 books a week for the most part. But I'm not reading the huge epic fantasy books or epic science fiction books that I was reading last year. And so I don't want this number to make me think that I'm like doing super amazing because I know that the books I'm reading are shorter. 15 out of 100 books. My goal this year was to read 100 books from my shelf. This goal is looking like it's probably not going to happen because of library borrows, but I still want to try to um, be ambitious about this goal and to go after it. So I need to read more from my shelf. 4 graphic trades from my shelf is way too low. That needs to be much higher. I have so many unread graphic trades that it is ridiculous. I've borrowed 12 things from the library and read them, which is pretty good as far as like saving money and things like that, but not so good when it comes to your goal being to read from your shelf. 13 short stories is woefully low. It's terrible, and I read all 13 during the month of January. This needs to change, and needs to change soon. Dates. 8 books from 2017. I am reading more new releases this year than I have ever read, ever. I'm trying to keep up with books that I really want to read that are new releases, and I'm trying to get them from the library for the most part. Um, 8 were from last year, 2016. Just catching up on things that I wanted to read from last year. Catching up on like possible award nominations. 10 from 2010 through 2015. This is basically catching up on some series that I've read that I want to finish and get further in. 6 from before 2010, with 3 being comics and 2 being David Eddings. This is bad. I need to read more of my older books. I need to read more classics, more contemporary classics, more older fantasy books, more older science fiction books that have been on my TBR for years. This needs to be better in the future. Scores. I gave 2 books 5 stars. One of them was Volume 7 of The Sandman by Gaiman. The other was Six Wakes by Mur Lafferty. And these were the only books that really made me super excited. 4-star reads. These vary quite a bit. Borderline was fantastic. The Wind Up Bird Chronicle was amazing. That might be bumped up to a 5-star read before the year is over. And Nine Fox Gambit, even though there's parts of it I didn't like, it really intrigued me. After the Crown by KB Wagers, I really enjoyed. On the Edge of Gone was really great. And The Baron and Nightingale was good, but it wasn't like as good as those. I don't know. With this here, 4 stars, there's a big variance between the ones I liked a lot and the ones that I liked, and I still gave a 4-star rating to. So I need to close that gap a little bit. Maybe drop some things down into the 3-star rating, push some things up to the 5-star rating, because there's a big gap here. 3-star ratings I gave 12 to, and once again there is a big variance between the ones that I liked a lot that I gave a 3-star and ones that I just gave a 3-star to. Yeah. And then 2 stars, I gave 6 to. I think that the most disappointing book that I had this last winter was The Obelisk Gate by Jemison. I wanted to really love that book, but it was so problematic for me. I just feel like the world is better off without these people. And probably the worst book that I ended up finishing was Caravel by Stephanie Garber, and I might drop that down to a 1 star. I don't know. I need to look at these more closely and figure out why I gave certain things a certain rating and to improve my ratings going forward so that it really reflects how I feel about a book. I bought 14 books and read 4 of them, which is not that bad considering that I bought a Kindle and I probably bought it's like 7 Kindle books, so that were like super cheap. Here's my biggest problem area. I bought 23 trades and I've only read 1. Yes, I spent a lot of my gift card money on trades during the Image sale and the Marvel sale, where you would buy a certain amount and get 1 free. So I really need to focus on that. I bought 64 single issue comics and I read all of them, which is pretty great. I always prioritize my single issue comics before my trades, but I think I need to sometimes prioritize a trade over a single issue once in a while. This is where the majority of my budget for comics and the books goes, like my actual money. But I really enjoy them, so it's not that big of a deal. I still have half of my gift cards left from Christmas, which is pretty good. I want to be able just to use that for the rest of the year when buying books. I probably have about 10 books that I really want to buy the rest of the year. But I want to still focus on getting them from the library first, and then if I really love them, then buying them. My goals going into this spring, which, we're a few weeks already into it, is to borrow less books, which is hard because I work at a library now. But I really need to focus on borrowing less books. If I do borrow a book, connect it with one of my other goals, like the Read the Hugo and the Nebula nomination goal. I want to read all of the short fiction nominees. I want to read all of the novel nominees. I'm quite done with a lot of these, but this will definitely help with reading more short fiction, is to read these stories that are nominated. I want to read more short fiction regardless. I want to read my anthologies that I have, my Uncanny Magazine issues, and just read more short fiction. I want to start/finish the Fits in the Fool trilogy. I'm finally at those books, so I'm going to be starting the first book soon, and then I'll be getting the 3rd book when it comes out, I think in May. So I want to be able to be caught up with that series, because that is probably my most want to read book out of all of my books, and you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so you might as well read the book that you want to read the most now. God willing, this won't happen, but if I got sick a year from now and I wouldn't be able to read, I don't want to regret not reading the books that I wanted to read the most right now. I also want to read a few classics / new classics, maybe 2 or 3. I just have not been reading classics hardly at all. I am now reading 1984, so that's good. But I need to read these more to challenge myself. Once in a while, I feel like I'm going through the motions when I'm reading the same type of books a lot, and I need these classic books, the more difficult style of writing, to really restart my brain, kind of. And lastly, I need to be more a part of the community. I just have not been watching videos. I've been taking my video watching time and using it to read or to watch television. I need to manage my time better so that I can be a more active role in the community, talk to people, make friendships with people, because my friendships with some of the BookTube people that I was friends with are kind of waning a little bit. It's we're not as close as what we used to be, so I need to put a little bit more effort into just being more a part of the community. I also need to read my National Geographic books. I haven't finished one of them yet, and I also need to read at least like a nonfiction book during the months of spring. So that's my goal for spring, and that was my look back on my winter reading. Overall, I'm happy with where I'm at, but I can always do better. So I hope this interests someone. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you maybe on a Monday video, because I have Monday off, so I could probably make a video, but you never know. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and please comment below.